Armenia is a land where fate intertwines with tragedies and heroism. On this ancient territory, one of the most massive and tragic genocides of the 20th century took place, leaving scars in the hearts of generations. Here, pain and loss coexist with the incredible resilience of a people who repeatedly proved their ability to survive the harshest trials. Every stone, every street reflects the memory of the fallen and shows how fate can be merciless. The history of Armenia is not merely a list of dates and events. It is a living tale of love for the homeland, a struggle for identity, and a constant confrontation with hardships. Despite the tragedies, its people continue moving forward, preserving the lessons of the past and the strength of spirit for the future. Here our story begins, a story of suffering, loss, and astonishing endurance. At the dawn of centuries, Armenia emerged as a place where culture and tradition became a bulwark for a people seeking light amid darkness. Its inhabitants fought not only against external foes, but also against the storms of internal doubt, striving to preserve their identity. The first pages of history were written in blood and faith, as locals defended their right to live by their own laws, despite constant pressure from neighboring powers. In every confrontation, the strength of spirit was palpable, as even the slightest spark of hope could ignite a flame of resistance. Yet, as is often the case, hardships and losses laid the groundwork for future trials. Each victory was accompanied by inevitable sacrifice, and the Armenian people learned from their painful experiences, setting the foundation for later dramatic turns. Over the years, the Armenian people faced new challenges, with each trial sharpening their wisdom through pain. Amid endless conflicts and losses, a remarkable resilience was born, one that enabled not just survival, but defiant resistance against destiny. Power shifted repeatedly, yet culture and faith remained constant companions. In every corner, an ancient energy reminded everyone of the bond between past and present, proving that even in the direst circumstances, a glimmer of hope can be found. Gradually, the contradictions between the desire to preserve traditions and the necessity to adapt to a changing world intensified. These tensions sparked internal upheavals and minor clashes, which, though seemingly insignificant on their own, merged into a larger tapestry of an inescapable fate. History here followed a jagged path, with each event preparing the ground for even more dramatic twists. Tension escalated as the past and future merged into one continuous narrative of a people testing fate's limits. Successive regimes struggled to find a way to safeguard a cultural legacy that grew ever more precious with each trial. Armenians faced external threats and internal discord, with every new battle resulting in heavy losses. During this period, a sense of isolation and abandonment grew, as if the very earth protested the injustice of the times. People sought solace in their traditions, yet the wounds of history remained unhealed. Between hope and bitterness, a relentless struggle emerged that gradually paved the way for even more heart-wrenching events. The nation's destiny hung by a thread, and every citizen felt that profound change was inevitable, with a future shrouded in uncertainty and sorrow. In the midst of suffering, even the gravest narratives sometimes allowed room for a touch of irony. Imagine a small, age-old village where, despite deep losses, locals gathered around a simple table to share humorous anecdotes from daily life. An old man, with a twinkle in his eye, would recount how his runaway chicken once escaped to freedom, prompting bursts of laughter that momentarily lifted the weight of sorrow. These light-hearted exchanges and minor misadventures provided a brief respite, a momentary distraction from the overwhelming darkness. In such dire times, even a playful pun served as a symbol of defiance against relentless despair. The people learned to laugh at their misfortunes, even if that laughter concealed a profound pain. Such moments, though fleeting, reminded everyone that life continued despite adversity and offered a spark of human warmth in a bleak reality. Despite these rare moments of levity, Armenia's history remained fraught with relentless trials, with each new day delivering fresh hardships. Its people were forced to confront an unending stream of tragedies, grappling with the brutal realities of change and loss. Every step was marked by an internal battle, where love for the homeland clashed with the uncompromising severity of fate. The memory of past sacrifices and great feats served as a constant reminder that life was an ongoing fight, In the hearts of the people burned an undying ember of hope, one that refused to be extinguished, even in the darkest moments. This struggle for survival became an intrinsic part of the national character, as every generation found the strength to persevere amid the relentless hardships and protect the legacy of their spirit and freedom. The intensity reached its zenith as Armenia's life began to reveal astonishing and paradoxical facets. Despite the multitude of sufferings and tragedies, its people maintained a unique ability to see light even in the deepest darkness. It was during this phase that the true character of the nation became unmistakably clear. Amid the agony of loss and the struggle for survival, a new dimension of identity emerged that could not be ignored. People started to realize that beyond the overwhelming sorrow lay a rich cultural heritage, one capable of redefining their worldview. Every shared story and whispered legend carried a sacred weight, as if the voices of ancestors confirmed that within this very contradiction resided an unparalleled strength. On the brink of unveiling a fact that would illuminate their ancient roots, a quiet conviction settled in. A conviction that tragedy could not erase the enduring richness of the nation's soul. Astonishingly, it was here, amid countless sufferings and relentless challenges, that Armenia became the first nation to adopt Christianity in AD 301. This fact proved as startling as any later tragedy, marking a pivotal turning point in shaping the spiritual identity of the people. While many nations sought solace in various beliefs, the Armenians realized that faith could serve as an unyielding refuge during the darkest hours. The acceptance of Christianity was not merely a religious decision, but a profound moment of renewal, uniting the community and fortifying its resolve against relentless adversity. This historical milestone became a beacon of hope and unity, deeply entwining Armenia's identity with its spiritual legacy. On the backdrop of ongoing tragedy and loss, a remarkable spiritual revival emerged that forever etched Armenia's place in the annals of world culture and faith. Even in the darkest moments, ancient legends sometimes took an unexpectedly humorous turn. Picture an old monastery where, despite the gravity of their circumstances, the monks held lighthearted contests of storytelling. One venerable monk, with a gentle smile, would recall how he once mistakenly mixed up sacred texts with a cookbook, sending the entire monastery into peals of laughter. Such amusing incidents momentarily dispelled the heaviness of their reality, serving as a reminder that even steadfast faith could share a smile. Laughter became a subtle act of rebellion against the unyielding grip of destiny, a brief celebration of life amid suffering. These funny tales were passed down through generations, infusing the tragic saga with a human touch and a hint of irony that lightened the blow of relentless hardships, even if only for a fleeting moment. With every new event, it became increasingly evident that Armenia's fate defied simple explanations. The tensions between ancient traditions and modern challenges ignited a fresh wave of transformation. Relying on time-honored customs and an unshakable faith, the people began exploring unconventional paths to preserve their cultural heritage. These pursuits led to unexpected discoveries. New artistic movements, literature, and even music emerged as expressions of the national soul. Yet, alongside this creative renaissance, internal friction intensified, caught between the desire to honor the past and the urgent need for change, between the pain of loss and the hope for renewal. Every citizen felt that transformation was unavoidable, that the ceaseless flow of history was carrying away the old values while ushering in new aspirations. This duality set the stage for events that would soon alter the nation's destiny in profound and unforeseen ways. Amid all the trials and losses, the Armenian people began to sense that every chapter of their history carried a promise of transformation. Memories of past heroics and bitter sorrows intertwined with new dreams of a future where faith and culture might shine anew. Each tale, every ancient legend, came alive in the hearts of the people as though echoing the call of their ancestors. The anticipation grew, as if the nation were on the verge of a decisive moment that would redefine its path forever. The resonance of bygone eras, merged with the challenges of modern times, instilled a deep belief that even in the darkest moments, there remained a spark ready to ignite a transformative fire. This growing expectancy was not only marked by the pain of loss, but also by a determined resolve to overcome any obstacle, forging a future that honored the legacy of the past. Armenia's history reached a critical juncture where past and future converged into a single, tension-filled symphony of events. A people who had endured unimaginable suffering now stood at the brink of a new era, with every loss and every wound serving as a harbinger of impending change. Memories of bygone days, when courage and faith triumphed over insurmountable odds, re-emerged with renewed intensity. This battle to preserve national identity, to honor the legacy of ancestors, acquired a new resonance as the nation braced for a transformative breakthrough. Within each heart, the suppressed strength of years of hardship was ready to burst forth in one final surge, to answer the lingering questions about the true cost of freedom and peace. The stage was set for a moment when all the struggles would converge, heralding a climax that promised to redefine everything. Even amid the thickest layers of despair, there were moments when even the gravest narrative took on a subtly ironic twist. In one village, elderly men gathered around a crackling fire, sharing tales of heroic deeds and bitter losses, when a witty anecdote emerged about a local blacksmith who could repair anything, from squeaky doors to ancient clocks, with such speed that time itself seemed to adjust to his rhythm. His humorous retellings, laced with self-irony and gentle mockery of life's hardships, brought smiles even to the most solemn faces. These light-hearted moments served as quiet reminders that even in the darkest times, one could find reasons to laugh, a small, defiant celebration of life that united people and offered a fleeting escape from relentless grief. Laughter, acting as a subtle balm, provided comfort and resilience in the face of seemingly insurmountable adversity. The intensity reached its zenith as Armenia's history prepared for the most decisive moment. Every detail, every year of suffering became a piece of an enormous puzzle that reflected the nation's destiny. Memories of loss, pain, and sacrifice merged with an unwavering determination and belief in a brighter future. All the hardships accumulated over centuries converged into a single point where the past acquired meaning and the future promised a new beginning. The people, who had time and again defied despair, understood that each action now held the power to alter the course of history. In this final phase, all contradictions and hopes intertwined into one ultimate decision, setting the stage for a conclusion that would leave a lasting impact and remind everyone of the profound price of freedom. The heroic and tragic saga of Armenia culminated in a sharp, unambiguous revelation. The nation endured a horrifying genocide that irrevocably altered its course. With no further hints or transitions, this brutal reality stands clear. The relentless force of fate stripped thousands of the chance to live in peace. This tragedy, laden with immeasurable sorrow and endless memories of loss, left an indelible mark on the collective soul of the people. Having passed through fire and water, the nation preserved its identity and cultural heritage against all odds. The final note of this history resounds abruptly, like a thunderclap, without consolation or delay. It is a truth that remains with us forever, forcing each new generation to remember the true cost of life and to never forget the lessons etched in the scars of the past.